All right. Shalom, shalom. This is the brother Iwalamia from GMS Chicago. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, taught us this truth, salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the earth, and also the brothers that teach us word and sincerity. Once again, I'm the brother Iwalamia from the GMS Chicago branch. Come back at you with another lesson. Just to basically talk about, what recently just happened, or that was just announced today, during the time I doing this lesson. You know, what's the day? December 21st? Yeah, you had the mayor of Chicago basically came out and said that, these different mandates is going to take effect. Me here in Chicago, it's going to take place, all around the world eventually. But here in Chicago, mandates, far as being juiced up, you know. And I'm just basically entitled this lesson, they're going to use these different mandates to make you take the knee, because ultimately, E wants you to take the knee, you know to be a part of this system, and basically to you ultimately to be a slave to this system. And they're going to ultimately do it by the way of the Marcus Aurelius, going back to Revelation 13 and 16. And these different mandates that we're seeing right now is just the start of that. So this is the book of this is from NBCChicago.com. It says Chicago to require juice proof for indoor spaces like restaurants, bars, and gyms. It says beginning January 3rd, anyone age 5 and older will be required to show proof of being fully juiced to dine inside or visit gyms or entertainment venues where food and drinks are being served. Right, we're seeing places like this happen in New York City. Different various parts of the states. You know, and ultimately it's going to usher in that Marcus Aurelius. So what E is doing right now is basically putting these different mandates in, so you can ultimately give in and take the knee. So it says Chicago will soon require proof of being Jews for indoor public spaces like restaurants, bars, and gyms in the new year. The city's mayor announced Tuesday, joining other big cities like New York and Los Angeles, and adding the requirements as Crown Royal cases go up. It says beginning January 3rd, anyone aged 5 and older will be required to show proof of being fully juiced to dine inside of or visit gyms or entertainment venues where food and drinks are being served. Right? This just basically show you how much of a devil that he is. Even kids, what I'm hearing right now, even, they're trying to get, like preschoolers, even kids, under the age of 5, to be, to required to be fully juiced, you know? And we know what's going on with the ones that's being fully juiced, that's taking the zombie juice, you know? A lot of them, is having, severe side effects, different things like that, you know? So it's going to be major uproars, from these mandates. And like I said, this is ultimately for E, to to get you to take the knee, to basically bow down to their system, by making your life unlivable. So it says the city said the policy is in response to an alarming rise in Crown Royal cases, both locally and nationally, driven in part of the Omi variant. Despite our diligent equitable juice distribution efforts throughout this year, unfortunately, our city continues to see the surge of it, Delta, and now Omi cases, Mayor Lori Lightfoot said in a statement. New steps must be taken to protect the health and the well-being of our residents. The public health order require proof of being juiced to visit certain indoor public spaces in a necessary measure to ensure we can continue to enjoy our city's main amenities as we enter the new year. Right. So, what if you read Revelations 13 to 16? This is where everything is heading. Far as mandates go. Where it's only one direction that this is going. And like I said, this is ultimately for them to take away your rights and for you to, bow down. So this is the book of Isaiah 10 and 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Right, woe meaning destruction, and that word decree goes into law. E does nothing but pass wicked and unrighteous laws. So basically what's happening right now, going into 2022, he's passing these unrighteous decrees to make your life ultimately unlivable, to you to, take the knee, to ultimately give in to being juiced, and ultimately, being, getting that Marcus Aurelius, you know, and that right grievances which they have prescribed, right? This is what he is doing. He's passing these unrighteous decrees, so so they feel as if that you don't have no choice but to give in, you know. But let's continue. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. The book of Ecclesiastes is 12:10. It says, "Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so if it's wickedness." Right. Never trust our enemies. Our main adversary is being a so-called white man. You know, whatever things he's coming up with. You're not supposed to follow whatever this man does or says. You know. Ultimately he's trying to to seduce you through these mandates to ultimately, ultimately for you to give in, for you to take the knee. But this is verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Right. This is what he's slowly showing his horns. The devil is, slowly showing his horns because what, you know, he as the book of Revelations 12:12 I believe says, though he had but a short time, roughly paraphrasing, the devil, he has nothing but a short time. He has nothing but a short time, so he's slowly showing his horns. He came humbly with it at first, but he's seeing that it's not working, so he's going to come down hard with these different mandates. uh yeah, Revelations 12:12, having great wrath because he knoweth that he had but a short time, roughly paraphrasing. You know, he's humbling himself right now, but he's slowly showing his horns by the way of these mandates. And it's ultimately going to get physical through the way of what? Martial law and different things like that, because it's going to be still a lot of people that's still not going to give in to these mandates. That's still not going to take the knee. So E is ultimately going to do it by force with these concentration camps and different things like that. That's why the Lord is preserving his elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. The ones that's not going to bow. You know, and this is how ultimately he's going to try to make everybody bow. This is the book of Revelation 13:16. He calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a Marcus Aurelius in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right, and this is what everything is leading up to, these different mandates and different things like that. And ultimately, we're going to break down this new quote unquote way of living. You know, and this is what these different mandates, different variants, is ultimately going to lead up to. You know, verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the Salakia, the Marcus Aurelius, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right. So right now, what I just read in the article, here in Chicago, this is happening here in Chicago. It's happening in other states also, like in Los Angeles and New York. But you see it right now. You can't go into restaurant, gyms, or bars, or different entertainment establishments or gyms, if you're not fully juiced. And ultimately, it's going to be, if you don't have, the Marcus Aurelius, you cannot enter, establishments or live life at all. That's ultimately things is going to lead up to, you know, just to basically show you that these scriptures is 100% real. This is prophecies being ripped off the page, you know. Right now, no man might buy or sell said he had the Marcus Aurelius, right? And it's ultimately, leading up to that right now. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6. Right. And this is what everything is ultimately leading up to, the Marcus Aurelius. But I have one more scripture that I'm going to touch upon. It's the book of Romans 11:4. It says, but what saith the answer of Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Right. And ultimately, here in this day and age, the Lord has, preserved his elect for not bowing down, to the image of Baal. And that, today being what? This beast system, ultimately leading up to that Marcus Aurelius. That's how Esau Edom was going to try to make a lot of millions of people, bow down to him by the way of that Marcus Aurelius. But the Lord has preserved, his elect, to not bow down, to this beast system, and that's what everything is ultimately leading up to towards, you know. But if you want to read this article to just to scan through it, read it. It's from NBCChicago.com. So I'm gonna just end it off right there. Lord willing, I hope this is edifying to the elect. So I want to end off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and our apostles of great millstone who taught us the truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the earth, and also the brothers that teach swear and sincerity. And until next time, Abba, Abba.